Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a best of 3 series of top-level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Zerg versus Protoss from the GSL Code S, the brand new season. We're in the upper left, playing in red, sending out what looks like an early drone yet again. We are looking inside of the main base of Rogue. His opponent, a Protoss player who operates in the shadows most of the time. Playing with the blue Protoss species, we have none other than Zoun. I don't get to cast nearly as many Zoun games as I get to check out Rogue's matches, but Zoun, in the last few times that I did see him play, oh, he really impressed me. Are we gonna proxy hatch over here? Oh, wait a second. Oh, Zoun is checking. Dude, I'm telling you, Rogue, he's been playing so many games in so many tournaments that this is noticed from a mile away. Such a big deal, actually. This is gonna give Zoun basically all the time in the world to prepare. There is now actually another... What are we doing? Is he gonna try out and mine out the skinny... I guess that's the plan. We're gonna try and mine out the skinny mineral fields over here and then get into the Protoss' base? He's pretending like he wants to go for a Proxy Hatchery in the natural expansion right now too, but Zoun knows that it's very unlikely that Zerg will actually have the money for it. Pylon over here, that's correct. If you can make a wall in this location, I mean, it's going to be nearly impossible. Additional probes get pulled right now. This is so messy and so dirty, but I think this is totally manageable for Zoun so far. Really, the question mostly is, what is Zerg going to do when this hatchery ultimately finishes? Oh, the drones are walled in. One of the workers, though, does die here. At this point, the drones can no longer go out. I mean, unless the probes help mine out these mineral fields over here, which I think they will probably prefer not to do. One of the drones is going to meet its demise very soon, it seems, as it indeed does get zapped to death. And awkwardly enough... Okay, we do rally it into the main. Awkwardly enough here, Rogue does let that Proxy Hatchery finish up. 2 additional Zealots. I guess what's going to happen now is that Zoun will likely be mining out these mineral fields. The gas does get stolen with one of the drones. But I would imagine you actually want to get rid of this hatchery, right? Shield battery over here. Zerg is not really going to be able to easily mine this out unless he sends more workers, or I guess he can start mining with this one and, yeah, slowly get the work done. Instead, he decides to go for a spine crawler. I think it might be best actually for Protoss to mine out these skinny mineral fields and allow himself down to the low ground. We do have a little bit of harassment here. Fair enough, that second gas that's lost is annoying. But I think this is totally fine here. So far for Protoss. Really well managed. We have that shield battery. And now, yeah, the Stalker is going to be within range. The Zealot's going to go down to the low ground. This is just about perfect here for Protoss. A huge amount of resources lost here for Zerg. Although I do believe it's time that we take an expansion now. Like, Zoun has been incredibly focused on getting this all denied. And eventually, right, Zerg is gonna likely retreat while I say that. We have 14 links right now on the production tab. Wait a second. Metabolic Boost is coming too. He is making a queen over here. That's crazy. I think we need to start up, yeah, a Nexus here really quickly. Brenda pops out. Brenda's gonna get shot at immediately and also sliced up by a bunch of dudes here with swords for arms. More and more links are going to be running across. He did pull out of gas. Just enough for Metabolic Boost. Is he gonna try and still get into the main base? I mean, as long as Protoss backs up... Yep, perfect. As long as Protoss backs up, this is not going to happen. The shield battery is gonna make life really nice. This will be a little bit awkward, though, because I think one of the units is gonna have to cycle around here. We do have 2 Adepts finishing up. Actually, one of the Stalkers. Okay, gets recalled. Does not quite finish. Careful now, Zoun. Don't let this slip out of your hands. What a mess. I thought he was within range right there of the shield battery as well for just a moment, but Rogue managed to get just about the perfect fight. Still, though, this is such a big commitment here for Rogue, and ultimately, all he has really killed is a Stalker, and that one was very preventable. Yeah. So obviously, we did see the probes dying as well, but that was because of the drones being so aggressive early on. That was before any of the Stalkers were ever out. This is not ideal. The Zealots are still going to get at least some value, but the Zerglings really should have been denied. Okay, alright. It's time to try and get back to standard. Rogue has been expanding, by the way, behind this. Looks to me like he wants to take a 3rd hatchery now, too. So I guess we're playing the macro game now. Okay, sure. Sure, why not? Yeah, just played a macro game from here. What a reasonable thing to do. Spore Crawler coming up inside of the main base. It's because there is indeed a Stargate. Now, sadly here for Zoun, he didn't quite have enough gas to really start up that Oracle, and this is really the strength of this type of Proxy Hatchery still, despite the fact that Rogue really did not have a lot of success with the Proxy Hatcher directly. It's clear here that Zoun is not 100% clean on the follow-up. He should have been mining a little bit of additional gas a little sooner. Obviously, he did take the second gas in the main base, but at a later time than he originally planned, and now the Oracle is late. And these are the types of things that really can put a Rogue, well, back in the driver's seat of a match like this. He's still making a lot of lings, though. I'm surprised, actually, with the number of Zerglings that Rogue is producing, because his economy just hasn't been that good. +1 melee on the back it is right now as well for Rogue. We have a second Spore Crawler. That one's coming up inside of the natural. Zerglings will try to run around. I think the 2 queens are going to be enough now. Yep. And I'm guessing here Zoun actually wants to take this triangle base as his third. Normally you never take that one as your third base on 10,000 feet. Normally you go for the one right over on the left of the natural. Wall off here to complete the high ground. Fair enough. That is gateway number 3. 620 is when this Nexus ultimately drops. Now that is so much later than the norm that it may very well put Rogue into a relatively comfortable spot. He's going to see the timing of this third. He's going to be holding down the drone button immediately. Roach Warren. Nope. He had a Baneling Nest, canceled the Baneling Nest, went for a Roach Warren, then canceled the Roach Warren and made a Baneling Nest again. Alright, fair enough. Zerglings actually do commit now. There's no shield battery done yet. Additional adepts have to get warped in. We don't have an Oracle here defending. There are multiple Oracles out. I guess they were busy on the other side of the map because 5 drones did fall. Yeah, this guy does have 5 confirmed kills as well, so that must be exactly what these lads were up to. There is no resonating glaives, so these adepts aren't really that useful. Third Oracle available right now. And the adepts are going to try and slide in through the left. Good follow-up here by Rogue, it has to be said. The early game was a bit of a disaster, but he has still managed to get a lot of value. A little bit of a misplay here again as well by Zoun. Yep, these adepts are not really going to achieve too much. One of the Oracles is going to die. Yep, and now the drone numbers really are starting to get big. He's going to surpass the amount of workers that Zoun has. The problem here is that Zoun is playing this very tempo-based style, the one that we see Protoss players go for most of the time, right? It's Oracles right now into Blink Stalkers. Nothing out of the ordinary at all, of course, but the timings are completely out of whack. Normally, this upgrade would be long done already. Normally, with the +1 melee timing here of Rogue, it wouldn't be finished in time against Blink Stalkers, but right now it's been done for like a minute. We're going Spire on the back of this too. Yeah, Zoun is continuing down the normal path that we usually see from Protoss in this matchup, whereas Rogue is adjusting. You can't really do anything with these Stalkers right now, can you? It's very common to see Protoss moving out with Blink and then try to snipe a 5th hatch. I think moving out with these Stalkers is very, very risky. He doesn't know what Zerg has at this point in time. I guess you can argue as well that if you do nothing, Zerg can just overwhelm you, but I am finding any sort of Stalker attack a little bit risky. Maybe taking the 4th Nexus here is actually the better call. But this very likely wasn't Zoun's original plan. Yeah, maybe the way to force a bit of a macro game is to proxy hatch. As ironic as that sounds, right? Like, maybe that's the way you can force the games to go a little bit longer, because Protoss is unable to go for their pre-planned strategy. Robo Bay on the back it is right now as well. But the Spire is nearly done. Keep in mind, this is a little bit cheaper these days. It also builds quicker. Again, another mispositioned unit here for Zoun, although apparently it's going to be okay. How many mutas are we going to see? I think it will be like 13 or so immediately. Okay, 10. 10 mutas coming up. Protoss has absolutely no clue. He will have Stalkers available, of course. That's nice. Blink is really important, but we don't have Storm or Archons or Zealots with charge on the back of this. Zerglings are thinking about going in for the counterattack. Rogue does have a new hatchery in the far upper right that he can cycle the drones here towards. Mutas aren't really great at straight up fighting, so I don't really disagree with him just not really taking that engagement for now. Where are the Mutas going to go? Apparently we're going straight on the offense. There is a shield battery here together with 3 Stalkers, but still though, Mutas now do reveal themselves as the Stalkers get recalled in the middle of the map. 4th Nexus does have a shield battery together with a photon cannon, but at this point there's just so many Zerg units available already. Good stasis ward though. It is gonna force this Zerg army to back off for now. Hydra then on the back of this. We've got ourselves a Phoenix now also added into the mix, and additional Phoenixes too. 2nd Stargate, okay. It's really interesting how the longer macro games lately seem to all start with a proxy hatch. Like, it really doesn't make sense because Zerg is ready to effectively win the game at minute 4. But this game is now headed into a bit of a late game scenario. Zoun has barely been out on the map. Yeah, I guess the Proxy Hatchery ultimately does give you a ton of map control as Zerg. We're gonna go though for the tried and true strat in the late game. Zoun is adding on a 2nd Stargate and now also that fleet beacon, so we can go into a little bit of carrier production or the mothership. Any on pulse crystals here as well, and the Phoenixes would be awesome. Big Zergling counterattack here in the meantime though on the right side. Okay, the Zerglings do get intercepted here. I think that this base though could be in some trouble. Oracles are trying their absolute best. Another stasis ward putting in the work. Phoenixes right now are chasing the Mutalisks down. Is this Nexus going to fall? I think it will. That was expensive though for Rogue, it has to be said. Rogue did just lose a ridiculous amount of resources to try and kill that base. Phoenixes are also, of course, a really good counter. There's the +2 range for those Phoenixes, which is really sweet. Now Zoun decides to go on the offense. It's a full Hydraling Bane follow-up though. So we go for Proxy Hatch into Mass Zergling, into Mutas, into ultimately Hydraling Bane. We already had that Robo Bay done a while ago though. Zoun now sees the army. Pretty much all those Zerg units, the Hydras and the Lynx here, are light. And Colossi deal bonus damage against light. So I think this is a good shot for sure. If we can now basically put like the mothership as the cherry on top, I think Zoun is gonna have a bit of a death ball of an army. He does need to get the Colossus ranged upgrade too though. He should really get the +3 attack. Okay, he does indeed fire that up. Rogue though has different plans. Rogue is already ready to go for his next wave. So keep in mind there's no storm. There's no Colossus out just yet. It's about to pop, but without range, this type of Zerg army can still put in the works. It's messy though, because Muscular Augments only just now finishes up. Additional Banelings are slipping through the cracks now as they just roll into whatever they can hit. Hydras are forcing themselves up towards the high ground. Colossus is gonna try and stutter step around the side. No, you gotta go this way. Big man, you gotta go around the left. I can't believe that this is the type of game that Rogue can still win. GG. And that will take us to Old Republic. Beautiful gameplay there by Rogue. I still can't quite believe that he managed to stay in control from the very start to the very end. And that's what makes Rogue such a scary player. I've said this time and time again, but he really is one of the very best players that we have really ever had in StarCraft. Like, his name really should be part of the rotation for greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time, because Rogue is just so flexible. Most StarCraft pros are incredibly rigid with their performance. Rogue definitely does his Zerg yoga every day. So we go from like a failed proxy hatch, right? Because that ultimately was like 1,000 resources down the drain, and it achieved very little, to him just never really letting go of, well, the map control. Difficult for Zoun to really get anything done against it, right? Like, Zoun didn't really move out until, well, Zerg threw away all of those Zerglings and sniped the 3rd base. Like, that's when Zoun went across the map for the very first time. Pretty nuts. Either way, we find ourselves on Old Republic next. And this time around, no proxy hatch. So now we get to see what Zoun actually prepared. In the GSL, you will know who you're playing against a little bit ahead of time. So that allows you to study their replays, figure out what builds you're going to be going for. You can maybe overthink what vetoes you're going to be doing as well, as far as like the map picking order goes. Zoun clearly did not get to do what he planned on doing in the previous game. So what do we do next? That's, by the way, as well the reason why Zoun immediately checked the location of that proxy hatch, right? Like, normally you would never do that in a ladder game. But he was suspicious right from the start. I would imagine, though, we're just going to see good old, well, oracles into Blink Stalkers. Even though I do think this matchup is really good for Protoss at the moment. Protoss early game is quite one-dimensional. You really don't have a ton of wiggle room. Really, the main question is, do you go for a second gateway before you build a third nexus? That's... Do you go for a 330 third nexus or a 350? As far as unit choices go, you have to go oracles, pretty much. It's just by far the best choice. The real question is, what is the follow-up going to be? You kind of have to go Twilight Council, but you could go Charge, you could go Blink, you could go Glaive the Depths. There's quite a bit of variety, but like past minute 5 or so. Early on, you don't really have that many great options available as Protoss. At the very least, I mean, we used to say the same thing as well for Zerg, where the Zerg early game was predetermined most of the time. Well, Rogue and also Shin, they have really shown us that maybe it's not so clear-cut in the end. Rogue opening up with an extremely cursed build. This is +1 melee before metabolic boost. So these two upgrades are going to finish up right around the same time. And I guess we get a mass Zergling timing attack? I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense. When do we start making links? I'm guessing when these injects pop off is when we switch to full Zergling production? Maybe this is actually a... I wonder if that's what Rogue is going for. Maybe this is a strat where he is trying to snipe the opponent's third base. +1 melee is a really, really big power spike for Zerglings especially. Any unit that comes out in large numbers and attacks quickly, like Zerglings and, for example, Marines, they just benefit from +1 upgrades so significantly early on. Zoun may be able to pick up on this, though, because he knows the timing at which normally... He does get a couple drones here, that's good. He knows the timing at which normally link speed should be done. So maybe already alarm bells are going off. So there's the 350 third nexus. That means, indeed, we did make a second gateway as part of the wall. We are going to go into a Twilight Council on the back of this as well. Yeah, now the link production indeed starts up. Metabolic boost is going to be done. And then I guess when the links arrive on the other side of the map, +1 melee is going to be nearly finished. Funky strategy here from Rogue. I've never quite seen something like this in like the last 10 years. It's genuinely been that long. At the pro level, you just don't usually go for this, although it does really look quite promising. Those adepts are gonna probably just get absolutely melted. +1 melee finishes right now. The thing is, Zerg is not likely going to be spotted for that. Although maybe Zoun now notices that those adepts are dealing more damage than you expect them to. This is nice, though, here for Zoun. He does end up killing, well, 2 drones and then also the queen. But I think this Nexus is dead. Yeah. Those links are just gonna be able to snipe it. Oh, Rogue. Okay. Back to the drawing board we go again. We've already determined that Rogue has been doing his Zerg yoga. How flexible here is Zoun? That's the question now. Because suddenly, again, maybe it's not quite a proxy hatchery, but suddenly, again, your entire strat has to be thrown out of the window. Oh, the links are going to try and get a second round. Oh, adepts do move into position. Yeah, there's an oracle, a third oracle up in the air. Okay. That was actually very close to a second cancel on the Nexus. Kind of a nice build here for Rogue, actually. If you're a Zerg player and you're struggling in this matchup, I think you can really throw a curveball with this super quick +1 melee. The first adepts will be a little bit more difficult to deal with, but the +1 melee just is so significant. Again, by the way, we don't have glyphed research. Instead, what we're going for is just an adept move out. And then blink stalkers on the back of this. It does mean that the forge is a little bit delayed. There's the 4th hatchery coming up. A couple stalkers and oracles still available. So they've been zapping away at those links. And now Zoun gets to strike back. Oh, should we have committed? I wonder if we should have committed, because right now it's all going to be a little bit messy. Queens are having a good time here. Links will definitely clean up those adepts. Oracles are already being targeted down. At the very least, we're keeping them alive, but that was a pretty easy cleanup yet again. I wonder here if Zoun has actually clicked on one of the links. He must realize by now that those Lings are dealing more damage than you would really expect them to do at this stage in the game, but it does feel like he should have already clicked them a while ago. Well, either way, we have a Spire coming up yet again, together with a Fleet Beacon. The ways in which we have gotten here are very different than the previous game, but apparently all the roads, they do lead to Skytos, and all the roads do lead to Mutalisks here. This is good though here for Zoun. Killing the 4th hatchery would be massive. The main bottleneck here for Rogue is the amount of Vespene gas. Yep. So any sort of delay on the Vespene gas mining is big. Yep, 4th hatchery on the left also gets denied now. So that means that the amount of mutas that can come out will be very, very low. Should we recall? I wonder if we should recall. Oh, it's a mothership rush. This is still a 7.5-minute mothership here. Interesting defense against mutas. He doesn't know about the Spire yet, right? Likewise, I wonder if Rogue knew about the Fleet Beacon. I wonder if he would go Corruptors here instead. I don't know, though. Corruptor Ling is not really a good unit composition. A couple years ago at this point, they did buff the mothership's damage itself significantly. So the mothership itself deals a ton of damage. Not really something we really, take notice of all too frequently. But she can definitely hold herself reasonably well against mutas for a little bit. Although against 14 of them, I do believe she needs some backup. Photon cannons, though, are being set up. Yeah. Static defense is indeed going to be available soon. We have a Templar Archives here as well for Zoun, so he's going to be able to transition into some Archons and maybe High Templar with Storm momentarily. Okay, here goes the mutas. And here is Mama. Let's see, how is this going to work? Do you just activate Cloak and be happy about it? He starts up Anion Pulse Crystals yet again, assuming he must have seen the mutas pretty early on, or maybe the Spire or something. He is going to be able to get these Phoenix upgrades done pretty quickly. My only concern here for Zoun is the timing of the 4th Nexus. So you can max out on 3 bases, but it's going to be reasonably slow. You can't really max out multiple times. But those mutas have been countered really nicely by Mama. Look at her, man. She's beautiful. I wonder if we should have some hero units as well for the other 2 races, you know? Why does Protoss get to have a mothership? Give Zerg a Leviathan. Give Terran like a, I don't know, like a big battlecruiser or something. That would be nice. Maybe don't call it a big battlecruiser, actually, because it would be a BBC. The British Broadcasting Corporation. Anyways, maybe the Odin. Maybe the Odin. Odin could be cool. Genuinely, though, why does Protoss get to have a hero unit, but the other races don't? Either way, Rogue is not too keen on how this muta start has gone this time around. Because now he's invested a ridiculous amount of resources into Mutalisks, and they've done nothing. Now, as you all know, the best thing you can do when you make a mistake is to double down. Never give up, never surrender. He decided to make even more mutas. Now we have 27 of them. 27 mutas together with a bunch of corruptors. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. But we are now playing Sky Zerg versus Sky Toss. You could almost hear the Zerg players listening to this pull back a little bit. They're like, oh god, Sky Zerg versus Sky Toss? Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not a good setup for Zerg at all. Rogue needs to work his magic really soon, because Zoun's unit composition is just going to be better. He's already added Psionic Storm into the mix. Archons and High Templar to indeed round this out is perfect. We've killed one Vespene Gas Geyser. I think that's all the mutas have really achieved. Yeah, Storm is just really nice here, man. Yeah, he wants to get a cancel on that Nexus. Not going to happen. This is sketchy, though, for Zoun, right? Like, he knows how difficult this is and how quickly this Zerg army can deal damage. You're really walking a tightrope here as Protoss, but ultimately, Zoun is now maxed. And that's what he's been aiming for this entire time. Okay. Rogue trying to get a hive done. He needs to get some real damage in, though. Oh, the High Templar caught off guard for just a moment. Not quite good enough. This does now actually kind of zone the Protoss out of their own natural. Hello, Zoun. We need to wake up, man. Maybe we need to recoil into the main base, even. Oh, suddenly Rogue. He's making his way into the main base here. Still, though, the Zealots did go across the map, and the Zealots are tearing apart a hatchery and then a ton of workers, too. There's Mama activating the cloaking upgrade, so that's going to make her quite a bit more formidable against this type of Sky Zerg. The Zealots are just putting in so much work. And honestly, these Zealots, they were not really contributing much to the real army power here of Zoun. So sending them across the map not only opens up a lot of damage, but also a lot of supply. He's replacing them with much better units now. And also apparently more Zealots, because these guys have been quite useful. We're even going to recall some of them. And as the dust settles after that particular fight, yes, a lot of probes died, but even more drones ended up biting the dust. And this unit composition here for Zoun is just better. I like this army here for Protoss way better. Still, though, he needs to make sure he doesn't get split up like this. Like, this is honestly kind of risky. There come the Phoenixes just sailing through the Mutas. Range advantage be damned. But it does not matter. GG gets called. Zoun evens up the score. Okay, and that takes us to Tourmaline. Final game in this best of 3. So far, Rogue seems to be a lot more comfortable. The scoreboard doesn't really suggest it though, but I think across the board, Zoun is playing very cautiously. He's making a few mistakes here and there, and while it's been working out well so far, I do think I prefer the way that Rogue has been approaching the series so far. And it seems to me that once more, we are committing to a proxy hatch. This probe is here to block a natural. Rogue is gonna fake a natural, I'm sure. Yep. It's like, oh no, I'm trying to expand. Oh no, what am I gonna do about it? Okay, I'll take the third base instead. Never mind, not doing that either. Instead, I'm building a hatchery on the other side. Okay. 10 out of 10 acting right there, by the way, to that drone. Give him an Academy Award. Oh, look at this, man. We're doubling down. Rogue's acting skills are second to none. He's like, I don't want to take the third base. I want to take the natural. And it worked. Well done. Well done right there. The Academy Award goes to Rogue. Beautiful acting. So, I guess this is a Spinecrawler all-in? A Spinecrawler cheese? Oh, now he's pretending like he wants to block the Protoss' natural. I'm pretty sure there's nothing Rogue wants more than Protoss to have a natural expansion right now. Cybercore starts up. Oh, that was a misplay. One of the drones does get zapped to death. One of the probes here also does get zapped to death. The workers are fighting the workers again, man. What has this matchup devolved into? This is just like game number 1 now. What is going on? Like, if you haven't watched top-level StarCraft over, like, the last year or so, you've got to be so confused. Why are the workers fighting the workers at minute 2? What's even happening right now? Okay, Zoun's gonna see. Well, it's not really even seeing. It's mostly stumbling across a random hatchery right over here. Rogue is still going in for, yep, a bit of a wall block, preventing the Protoss from completing the wall off. I think you can still be able to just get the job done, though. Link's coming up. Zerglings here indeed coming up in pretty big numbers. Rogue saturating the gas now fully, so he can probably fire up Metabolic Boost in just a moment. But just like in game number 1, I like this position way, way better here for Zoun. Triple shield battery, by the way, in the wall off. Second gateway as well. Make sure to not block your own natural expansion here, Zoun. I think that one's okay, though. Spinecrawlers here in the far back of the creep spread. We are committing to a Spinecrawler all-in. How much fate did we put in this Spine all-in, though? I guess it was the drones. Yeah, the drones were actually the ones winning the Oscar. Rogue can win Best Director. I guess that does make sense. We have 5 shield batteries here. There's more shield batteries now than there are Protoss units. Other than the probes, that is. Here's Spinecrawler number 1. Oh, that Spinecrawler is not going to do anything, guys. I think that Spinecrawler is just going to get zapped. Shield batteries here are so nice. Oh, that second Spinecrawler, a lot of links too. We did, by the way, pull out of gas fully. No half measures here from Rogue in general in this series. Dude, 2026 StarCraft 2 is something truly beautiful. What are we looking at right now? Seriously. Zoun just wanted to make an expansion, okay? All he wanted to do was build another base. Oh no, this is great for Protoss. Yeah, Rogue wants to get the wraparound. I love the addition of the probes here, actually. The probes just make it so difficult for Zerg to really get a wraparound. Keep in mind that the shield batteries don't have infinite energy, but they have quite a bit. Oh, man. Yeah, beautiful gameplay. Warp Gates is done now. That means we can start getting those reinforcements in a little bit quicker. Rogue is mining off of way less workers as he decides to commit. But even though a Nexus was never built, yeah, Rogue indeed has to tap out of the game. It's Zoun who obtains the victory 2-1. So spicy. So lately, obviously, there's been a lot of discussion in the StarCraft community. Should we start with 8 workers? Should we start with 12? A lot of people are claiming that the early game in StarCraft 2 is dull. I've seen that argument pop up on the Battle.net forums and on the StarCraft 2 subreddit and all the rest of it. I don't know if those guys or those people in general have been watching any professional StarCraft, but there have been so many cheeses over the last couple of months. And even though it didn't work out this time around for Rogue, I do love the disgusting builds that he's been cooking up lately. Either way, today, it is going to be none other than Zoun who obtains the victory. GG.